Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode from the Oak Island Research channel. It's been a while, I haven't broadcasted a video, and I did one in French a couple of weeks ago dealing with the Rochefoucauld and the alignments I found that are quite interesting, and I wanted to share with you those findings in English. So this is this video, which will exclusively almost be using Google Earth. So if you remember the last video I shared with you, I came to realize that some patterns were becoming recurrent in our storyline between Oak Island, and the pattern comes from Nolan's Cross, but also in Rennes-le-Château region, piggybacking on Simon Miles' initial work of that 45-degree angle line, which is kind of a backbone for the pattern we see, and around the Paris region, some also geometrical shape that is the same as we find on Oak Island in Rennes-le-Château, using some castles as markers. And I suggest you go watch the previous video if you haven't. That would be helpful. And you also remember I detailed some lines and alignments that were directly hitting Oak Island, and one of them not only hitting Oak Island but matching exactly Nolan's Cross position. It's on the same angle and the same alignment. Also have some Jerusalem alignment. And today what I want to talk about is the Rochefoucauld situation. The Rochefoucauld is a very influential family in France throughout the time, and François Maxime Rochefoucauld even played a role during the American Revolution. So it's a very influent lineage, one of the oldest one, still there, and they used and they have built castles. They also bought castles later in time. And an idea I had is, since we're talking about alignments, we know in Rennes-le-Château the churches play a great role. And on Oak Island, it's Nolan's Cross, and as Michael can definitely testify, Michael from Dot to Dot channel, hello Michael, alignments are there too. And what I was thinking about is that the Rochefoucauld may have built or chosen the castles they bought not on pure chance, but they position them a certain way. We know from our last study that the Rochefoucauld, one of the original castles, the family basically got two castles that are important in the lineage. One is the Rochefoucauld castle in the city of Rochefoucauld, and the other one is the Verteuil castle, which we will actually study today also. And I think, because it matches, but you know, on those distances you could be off by 300 yards or 400 yards, but it seems it's not the castle, or where in the castle shall we register our hitting point or point of interest. It seems to be the fountain. And from this fountain, or near this fountain, we have that white line that connects Saint-Honorat Island, on which I made a video in English some years ago, and you should have a look at it. It's a very interesting island here. Very religious linkage also. There's an abbey there, and this line goes straight to Oak Island, of course, to Nolan's Cross basically. What I did is I retrieved the list of all the castles that were built or bought by the Rochefoucauld, and starting to study their positioning and try to see if anything was abnormal, or at least what a coincidence. And I'm gonna propose you and detail 6 alignments, going from some trivial ones but interesting to some not trivial and oh my gosh, am I really finding what I'm finding? So let's go together. The first alignment, since we have that white line that connects Saint-Honorat to Oak Island, and it goes to the fountain of the Rochefoucauld own castle. Now, what you see here is I wrote in yellow any castle that was built or belonged to the Rochefoucauld family. For instance, Chambord did not, but Chateaubriand top did. So if you read something in yellow, it means it's owned or was owned by the Rochefoucauld family at some point in time. So one castle they owned was the Château de Marcillac, and that name comes in the composition of the name of the Rochefoucauld family. You can find references to Lusignan, to Marcillac, and in the Marcillac city, right next to my white line going from Saint-Honorat to the fountain, to the fountain of the Rochefoucauld castle and to Oak Island, you also go through the Chateau Marcillac. Exactly. So this chateau now is destroyed, absolutely not even ruins, but you can guess that on this higher ground here, that's where the chateau was located. So I found testimony that the chateau was there, and that line just go on top of it. There's another one that's interesting for this first alignment, which is the Château de Rochefoucauld, and the Château de Rochefoucauld is located right here in another part of France. And that used to be owned by the Rochefoucauld. And you can see I put in meters, because the video was originally broadcasted in French, the distance between the castle and that white line going from Saint-Honorat to Oak Island. So 230 meters, think about yards, you're 10% off, but it's okay. Basically, meters are 0.9 yards, so you can say it's 230 yards, you'd be okay. So at 230 yards, you find that castle that's now showing many points of interest, 3 points which are Rochefoucauld possessions, the church of the Saint-Honorat island here, or the church that's located on the eastern part. It's the Chapelle de la Trinité, and this goes straight to Oak Island on the other side of the world, and it reaches, I think it's Nolan's Cross, but it could be one of the anchor maybe. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I made it land on the top here, but you could be off by that distance. You still be okay. It just reaches Oak Island, not anything precise. And just to remind you how beautiful that orange line, because this one is fully aligned, totally aligned with Nolan's Cross. So that's the first alignment. It just confirms that white line is not just pure imagination. It's driven by those three Rochefoucauld castles. Château de Rochefoucauld was built in 1019, Château de Marcillac in 867. That's pretty old. I don't have data on the Rochefoucauld, unfortunately. So that's the first one. The second one is when you pick other, I studied them all, it took me forever to try to understand where they were located and try to understand if there was any alignment. But here, this castle here, Château de Saint-Ilpize, so I'm registering just to show you, that's what I'm registering. So you can see that's the rest of the castle here, and you still get some kind of a dungeon tower, I guess, or something. So I took this place here. I hope you're not seasick, because I'm going to keep on going up and down on the map. And we're taking Château de Champagne-Mouton, which is this one right here. Still belonging to Rochefoucauld at one point in time. That's the one. Right, so it's still there. You can see the kind of the surrounding of that chateau. And that's Google Earth telling me it's Château Champagne-Mouton. I took as a reference the dungeon tip. And when you match them, when you connect them, you get this blue line here, for which orientation is 109.9 degrees, 110, which resonates to all the 110 or around 110 alignments we had. So that one is 109.9. I'm just going to make faster for you now. If I take Château d'Apremont, which is here from 11th century, right here, and you take Château de la Roche-sur-Yon, which is not, from what I understand, a possession from the Rochefoucauld family, but if you connect to Château des Ducs de Mortemart, which is right here and which was one of the Duc de Mortemart is right here, and it's not a Rochefoucauld one, you nevertheless find again a 109.9 alignment, though those castles don't belong or never belong to the Rochefoucauld family as far as I studied. Doesn't mean, could mean that the Rochefoucauld family were not the only family around. I did not check if the Château de Duc Mortemart was linked to the Château de Roche-Guyon. Could be the same family, which could then tend to make me investigate on the relationship between those families. But what I found remarkable is that they're both rated 9.9. So again, some alignments, which is quite nice. We're gonna go now to more interesting alignments, starting with the Mélusine Tower. So Lusignan, the one of the family names of Rochefoucauld, it's compound name by weddings and marriage across houses. So Lusignan comes from Mélusine, which was a fairy, and the whole legend of the Rochefoucauld is gravitating around that Mélusine fairy. And here, that's where one of the chateaux of the Rochefoucauld family was, Château de Lusignan, a kind of a root source of the family. The family originally was the Rochefoucauld side, the Lusignan side, the Marcillac, and then by mixing and marriage, it became a big Rochefoucauld family. But the Lusignan castle from 970, if you take the castle here, you can see the shape it used to have. Something very long on that, again, on that angle there. And there's the Mélusine Tower, where the legend says Mélusine was enstoned, which is still located here, and it's Google Earth giving us the location, right? So that's what I take as a reference. And the other reference, castle, is Castle de Castelnau-la-Chapelle, even me in French, it's not easy to read. And this one is located... here it is, Castelnau-la-Chapelle, and we're roughly at 45 meters. If I do that alignment, so it's in black line, it's not that 109.9 degree angle anymore, and I'm passing through, again, you can see elevation. The castle is building some kind of a rocky mount, and that black line just passes a couple of yards away from here. The interesting thing is when you link those guys, you end up with the Château de Piauget, which is right here, not belonging to the Rochefoucauld family, but again, 205 yards or meters rather from that black line. Le Château des Ducs de la Trémoille, another prestigious family, and here we're 374 yards, but we're not that far, and I think the castle was selected because of the river and was easy to defend, but my black line goes right next to it. Well, guess, one more, sorry, forgot one, and that's pretty amazing. Where you're gonna discover where we end up. So this black line, still the same, goes to that huge place, which is the Angers Chateau, like a main castle in a main city, goes straight to the garden. So again, now I've got Tour Mélusine, Château de Castelnau, Château de Piauget, Château des Ducs de la Trémoille, Château d'Angers. I got 5 points on that line. 5 points of interest on that line, and you know where that line ends up? You would not believe it. Follow the black line, and here we go back to Rennes-le-Château, for real, but not anywhere at Rennes-le-Château. We go exactly to the Saint Mary Magdalena Church, the one that Saunière, the priest, was working on, and we can say working on because he was basically refurbishing the whole church, and that's his domain. And that's 2 videos ago we were explaining Nolan's Cross is hiding in geometry in this garden there. So we have Rennes-le-Château point, and those 5 castles and places are aligned on that single line. And if I just remove the others so you see better what I'm talking about, that's what I'm talking about, that vertical line here, which is just amazing of precision. From the Tour Mélusine, you reach the Sainte Mary Magdalena Church in Rennes-le-Château. That's crazy. Okay, so that's alignment number 4. I'm going to go to alignment number 5 now. So I think I need to recast those to work it out. So one of the other historical castle of the Rochefoucauld family, besides the Rochefoucauld one, the Mélusine one, sorry, not the Lusignan, sorry, the Marcillac. We also have the Verteuil I was talking about earlier. It's this castle here, Verteuil. Here he is. Okay. And why am I missing one point? I must be missing something, but theoretically... Oh yeah, I'm using Château de Verteuil, and I'm using, it's the black line here. We're going down to, again, the fountain. That's why I didn't have to click anywhere. So if I take the fountain again from the Rochefoucauld castle, and I link it to another main castle of Rochefoucauld, which is the Château de Verteuil, built in 1008, and the precision is 0 meter. The precision is perfect. That is, this is where I'm hitting. I'm hitting right in front of the porch of that building here. And it could be a a Google Earth effect. Maybe we're exactly on top. So if we take that line between those two castles, now hang on to the edge of your seats, because where I'm going to reach is a very special place in France, extremely holy, which is called Mont Saint-Michel. And I'm hitting exactly where the Archangel Michel sits at the top of this church. And I mean, I'm hitting it at 0 degrees, not 0 meter. I'm exactly on it. And Mount Saint-Michel is mystical, both for local people, but for the church also, and for basically the whole French population. So when you align, again, let me restate what I'm saying. When you align the fountain of the Rochefoucauld castle exactly on top of that building from Château de Verteuil-sur-Charente, you get exactly to Mont Saint-Michel. Is it by chance? Coincidence? I don't buy it. So yeah, that's my alignment. 155.36. The one we just saw before that was going down to Rennes-le-Château was 155.34. Tiny little bit difference. Visually it seems it's spreading apart, but that's a visual effect because we're looking at huge distances. But it's the same parallel lines again, and it seems those people love parallel lines all over the place. And that's just amazing to consider that alignment to Mont Saint-Michel is parallel to the alignment to Rennes-le-Château, and that just cannot be a coincidence. That's on purpose. The last one, which I think you're going to like a lot also, is when we hit the castle of Rochefoucauld, built year 1000, and we take this as a reference. This is that old castle, or what's left of it, and you can see it's again on some kind of a rocky mount. And I'm taking this is the end of the castle. I'm taking this place. There was maybe something there that's destroyed. And when I use again the Verteuil, the one we just saw before, that was important to the Rochefoucauld family. Where is my Verteuil castle? I lost it. Château de Verteuil, here it is. It's the one that goes... Verteuil was just used to go to Mont Saint-Michel some time ago. And if you go from the fountain to Verteuil, you go to Mont Saint-Michel. But if you go from Rochefoucauld to Verteuil, you reach, another place on the left, right here, which is called Château de Talmont. And it hits right in front, on top of it, exactly and precisely. This is the chateau, and this is where my line goes. So there's a connection between the Château de Talmont and the Rochefoucauld family by two castles that are exactly on the line at 0 meter or 0 feet on. The Rochefoucauld spot on, and the other one spot on, meaning the Rochefoucauld, the Verteuil, and the Talmont's castle are exactly aligned on a, guess, now you start to get it, 110-degree line. And why is Talmont resonating to our ears? Because here, the Lionceau de Talmont at the bottom of Zina's map, and Monsieur François Rochefoucauld at the top. I almost thought about drawing an 110-degree line between the two to see what it gives. I don't think it's related, but the fact, and we still haven't understood why Talmont is referenced in this document. Rochefoucauld maybe now, because of all those coincidences with the Duc d'Anville, with also the geometry here. But Talmont is the first time we find something physical or geometrical between the two. So yes, Château de Talmont is aligned with 2 Rochefoucauld castles. So at the end of the day, we got 6 interesting alignments, 3 that are super interesting, the one that goes to Rennes-le-Château, the one that goes to Mont Saint-Michel, and that blue one that links and connects Talmont. I still can't bring you any conclusion about what we're finding, but I think that it's coincidence is not likely it is a coincidence. It's very likely all this was done on purpose to tell a message, and connecting such holy places. You couldn't believe my surprise when I saw it was hitting Mont Saint-Michel precisely. There's something behind it. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for joining and watching the channel, and subscribe if you like. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.